What's up, everybody? Welcome back over here to the channel. It's your boy Snack here, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about some comic books. I've been really wanting to dive down into some comic book content over here, other than just, I've been doing my comic book hauls, which I typically keep to like TikToks and shorts. But today I wanted to talk about HELLVERINE. Now, this might contain just a little bit of HELLVERINE spoilers. I'm not going to talk about, too much in-depth stuff. I'm relatively new to the comic book scene. While I've picked up a few odds and ends over the years, I've never really dove down into the extensive collection of like any of the big publishers. But that all changed back in, I think it was May, when I went to pick up my pre-ordered copy of The Amory Wars by Coheed and Cambria. Now, I could talk about Coheed and Cambria's Amory Wars pretty much all day, but we're not going to do that to you. It just so happened that Marvel was also releasing one of their big summer events during the same time that Amory Wars was coming out. Now, I'm sure most of us are familiar with the MCU and their cast of characters that comes with, like the Avengers and all of them. So having basic knowledge of like the Marvel universe, I decided to scoop up something called Blood Hunt. That was their big summer event. It's a crossover with a bunch of vampires taking over the MCU. So I scooped up Blood Hunt 1. This immediately led me down a huge rabbit hole of comics. Blood Hunt was being pretty heavily pushed into multiple Marvel series, with handfuls of tie-ins from Wolverine to Hulk to Ghost Rider, and they all kind of bring you back to the main portion of the story. I was enamored. I was gone. I was lost in the sauce, as they say. I was scooping anything Blood Hunt for the next 2 months. And while I was reading one of them, in one of the pages of the tie-ins, there was an ad for HELLVERINE. Now, the image alone almost sold me on this comic. It was an image of what looked like Wolverine mixed with Ghost Rider, a flaming skeletal structure with Wolverine-type claws. It was pretty awesome. Now, being a novice to the comic book scene, it was nice to see something starting when I was also starting. This was going to be issue 1, so I decided I was going to pick this up as well. While there was some slight comic book knowledge needed to kind of get into it, the story itself, the comic, tries its hardest to give you a backstory before just throwing you into what I thought was going to be a over-the-top, cheesy, fan service type comic. But I was wrong. While there's plenty of blood and gore and badass action scenes being played out, there's also some feeling and some emotional strings being pulled, especially in the second and third issue, which is where I am as of recording this. This is a mini-series, so I think there's only going to be 4 issues. So the HELLVERINE is essentially a demon that is possessing the corpse of Wolverine or Logan's dead son. And with HELLVERINE being unleashed upon the world, the HELLVERINE's main goal is to eradicate evil by any means necessary, which does suggest there will be some casualties. Now, the government, in order to stop HELLVERINE, because as we all know, the government definitely has some evil, corrupt shit going on, has started up the Hellfire Project. This project is essentially turning dead soldiers into their own HELLVERINE-type anti-weapons. The thing is, most of them don't stand a chance against the real thing, and then the big caveat being the soldiers that are being brought back start to slowly remember their past, with one of them even returning to their home to visit their wife and daughter. Now, imagine the horror, if you will, of walking into a room to see your daughter face to face with a hellish being that somewhat resembled your dead husband. And then 2 seconds later, you see your dead husband's head being lopped off and rolling across the floor, all right in front of your tiny child. Yeah, talk about some emotional trauma. Now, out of everything I've read in the past couple of months, which has primarily been Blood Hunt tie-ins, I have picked up some other odds and ends, but HELLVERINE has slowly become one of my favorite spur-of-the-moment pickups. Now, Blood Hunt and most of its tie-ins, were great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like, HELLVERINE definitely got overshadowed because it got released right alongside of Marvel's big summer event. And as of recording, we only have 1 issue left of the miniseries, and that's why I really wanted to make a little video over here and just talk about HELLVERINE a little bit. And also, I'm trying to broaden the spectrum of content I'm doing over here, so I thought, a legitimate talk piece about a new comic that I'm interested in would be would be something unique and cool for, for my little growing channel over here. But yeah, if you guys like this type of video, please let me know. If you plan on picking up HELLVERINE, I'd love to hear about that as well. If you have any other comic recommendations that you'd like me to do, maybe like a breakdown or an opinion piece on, we could do that as well. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.